Welcome to Oxford News This Week. I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Terry Stiles. And in this week's local news, when will a local accused murderer get her day in court? And another man arrested in Oxford with outstanding warrants.
Stay tuned and learn more about these stories and others. The Oxford News begins right now. Last week, a district judge granted Sylvia Majewska psychiatric examination before she will stand trial for premeditated murder of her son, Darren Gailey, and infant granddaughter, Charlie. The judge ruled that she would be tested at the Center for Forensic Psychiatry in Saline, Michigan, to determine whether Majewska is fit to stand trial on both first-degree murder charges. Majewska's next court appearance is scheduled for March 2nd, 2015.
A local business security camera caught an alcohol thief, but the police did not. After receiving a complaint from a local business, Oakland County Sheriff officers reviewed the store's security tape, which showed clear pictures of the suspect placing bottles of liquor in his jacket. However, they were unable to find the suspect. And a good description of the thief is still there, so the Sheriff Department will keep the case open.
And sheriff's deputies were called to the home of a Lakeshore Circle resident who reported prescription drugs were stolen from his home. According to the homeowner, he was visiting with a neighbor in his house, and after the woman left the residence, he noticed that the drugs were missing. Officers questioned the woman, but she denied taking medication.
It looks like the Grinch made an appearance during the Christmas holidays as Christmas lights were missing from a Lincoln Street home and someone deflated decorations in an Oxford Township home.
A suspicious person was arrested and turned over to the Waterford police on several outstanding warrants. After village officers were called on a complaint of strange behavior, they found the man across the street from Oxford Elementary yelling at his cell phone. A background check produced the proof of outstanding warrants, so he was arrested.
Identification theft continues to be on the rise in Oxford as another resident found money missing from her credit card after losing it at a gas station. The woman reported the charges after she realized she may have dropped it while getting gas. Oakland County Sheriff's instructed her to contact her bank and close the credit card account. Always be aware of where your credit card is.
Last week, kindergartners and teacher Jennifer Contre's Daniel Axford School class showed off their creative and talented teamwork in a very sweet way. Here are kindergartners Ethan Carr, Emma Weber, and Marley Baldwin shown constructing their own little gingerbread house made with lots of candy, tasty frosting, and lots of love to be shared with other classmates.
North Oakland County Veterans of Foreign Wars, VFW Post 334 in Oxford, honored Oxford Middle School students who were winners of this year's Patriots Pen Contest. This year's 400-word essay theme was Why I Appreciate America's Veterans. Middle school winners were Katrina Dunchevsky, Emma D. Malanta, and Emma Vaughters, and Madeline Lukens. That's an easy one. Teachers and Teachers of the Year were recognized for promotions of citizenship and patriotism in the classrooms. These people are Kathy Brennan Stover, Jill Powers, Lisa Brennan, Rita Flynn, and Shani Williams. Along with the outstanding recognition, contest money was awarded to each of the winners. Phew, that was a mouthful.
It was. I tell you, you need a Purple Heart just by going through that.
Oh my goodness. Everybody's names are different, and I sure hate to mess them up. But this week I want to talk about, OCTV got to witness sort of a kind of an opening of the grave, so to speak. We got to go with the township while they opened what do they call it? Cold storage, a crypt.
Oh, okay.
It had been closed for years, and it was used as it turned out, by the sexton for all the gardening tools. But it was really interesting to go watch that and to be invited to do so. We did catch it on camera. And as a result, what is going to happen, the township is re-roofing that building, built in either 46 or 86, I can't remember. In order to preserve it. They're also putting a new roof on the mausoleum across the street. So that was an exciting
Some
week
improvements.
last
You
week.
didn't find any ghosts or anything in there.
Nothing in there, darn it, except for
No
maybe
dead
some
people or
old
anything?
rakes and
Okay.
some, I think, fertilizer. That was
Well,
about
you're
it.
probably disappointed.
I was. You know me and my ghost adventures. I was a little disappointed, but it was fun to be there. And I was really honored to be invited by the township.
What's going on with the Chinese dormitory thing? Do you know?
You know, I've been kind of trying to keep track. I understand that there was some kind of protest over it.
Well, excuse me, I believe that the contract didn't go through, but there is some negotiations
right.
going on yet. And there's a lady, I understand, that's taking up a petition.
Petition.
That's what's going on.
Well,
But we'll see how that turns out
the
down the line
people
here.
want their opportunity to speak.
They do.
And I think a lot of that happened kind of under the wire while we weren't looking, and you know, a little late to voice your opinion now, but petitions are fine. I'm okay with that. That's a civilized way to protest.
Well, there's something I'd like to talk about too,
Speaking
if I
of
could.
protests,
Yeah,
right?
speaking of protests, there's demonstrations, of course, against police force for excessive force, and I can understand why the relatives of people that have been injured or killed in these instances, where they'd be upset and concerned. However, those police officers put their lives on the line every day
For us.
and they do so many other things, you know, in the community as well, to protect, you know, you and me and
Right.
society as a whole. People have to understand that if officers tell you to do something, get down on the ground and so forth, you need to follow instructions. You cannot, you know,
Right.
get aggressive
Mouthy.
to them, because you're placing yourself in harm's way when you do that. They don't know what they're going to be confronted with in this day and age. Just when they get out of a car and go write a traffic ticket,
Right.
there could be somebody with a 38 caliber pistol or whatever,
Yeah,
one of
right.
those, and you know, and it happens.
Right.
So I think the abuses occurring to the police force, the people that are men that are in the blue out there that are trying to serve the community, and I'm concerned, you know, with the public in that way.
Fortunately, we have a pretty civilized community, our own little community, but we all know these police officers by face, by name. We know their kids, their grandkids, so be respectful.
Yes,
You
very
know,
much
if
so.
they tell you they want to see your driver's license, give it up.
Good idea.
Easy to do.
Right.
So that's it for Oxford News this week. If you'd like to learn more about these stories and others, stop by your local store and pick up a copy of the Oxford Leader newspaper, or better yet, catch us right here on Oxford Community Television. This is OCTV, where we bring your news closer to home.
Coming up next on OCTV, tune in for Oxford Local Sports, then catch Oxford School News with John Ochins. After that, join us with Auto Talk and Science in the News.
This is Oxford News This Week, where your news is closer to home, and I'm Terry Stiles.
And I'm Elgin Nichols. Remember, always be kind to your friends and neighbors, and thanks for watching.
Watching Oxford Community Television, keeping it local.
Welcome to Science in the News. I'm John Ochins, filling in for Dave Kenny. These stories are taken from the publication New Scientist. Remember the last time you had a stray thread on your suit that drove you absolutely crazy? Well, the European Space Agency's Gaia Space Telescope has some loose fibers that are letting too much light into the giant camera. The telescope was launched a year ago to map the Milky Way using a 1.5 gigapixel, yes, gigapixel, camera. Too much light delays the release of scientific data. The loose fibers are around the edge of the telescope's sun shield. It protects the spacecraft's delicate instruments from the sun's heat. The fibers were actually spotted before launch, but it was feared all options to fix the problem would just cause more. Gaia Space Team member Anthony Brown at the Leiden Observatory in the Netherlands says the stray light shouldn't affect measurements of the brightest stars, but will double the expected errors on most of the stars of the Milky Way, which are much fainter. In particular, it'll make it harder to measure their velocity through space. Brown says it's a shame, but not a showstopper. They've already collected more than 4 billion measurements. A weird sea ghost is breaking the record for the deepest living fish. Jeff Drazen and Patty Fryer of the University of Hawaii discovered this fish recently, over 8,000 meters below water in the Mariana Trench in the Pacific, the deepest place on Earth. It's a snailfish, but with some differences. Broad, translucent fins, stringy appendages, and an eel-like tail that allows it to glide gently through the water. Up until now, another snailfish held the record, around 7,700 meters. The intense pressure of the deep is a challenge for most animals because it's tough on muscles and nerves and bends proteins out of shape, keeping enzymes from working their way that they should. In case you weren't looking, a robot that looks like a giant insect just took its first steps. Hector, the 6-legged bot, moves each of its legs independently, allowing it to tackle a wider range of surfaces. Axel Schneider is a scientist at Bielefeld University in Germany. He and his team developed a lightweight shell attached to legs with 18 elastic joints, kind of like muscles. They can be programmed to swing or remain still. Since you can adjust the height of each leg, it can go over uneven terrain like pebbles or climb over obstacles. They're fitting Hector with short-range cameras and sensors to provide info about body position and surroundings. Eventually, they'll add long-range sensors to better mimic the abilities of real insects. This will be a useful tool for the study of animal locomotion. Maybe it'll be into hip-hop. That's Science in the News for this week, and this is Oxford Community Television, keeping it local. I'm John Ochins, and welcome to the Oxford Wildcats School Update. It was intended to be a little informational Oxford School Board meeting on Monday the 15th. Remember, at the last one, the board was going to vote on a new superintendent to replace the retiring Dr. Bill Skilling, when some folks felt that it just wasn't right. You see, 3 new board members take their seats in January, and some thought they should be a part of this selection process. Well, when we reached the public comment segment on the 15th, board member Jim Reese quickly chimed in.
Before we begin that, I just want to say that when the new board is seated, I would like to look at ways, and this may be a possibility right now, for Matt Johnson to put it just out there on the, or Pat, on the district website, that there will be no vote taking to appoint a superintendent at the Wednesday meeting, possibly on the Oxford Facebook page. And then when the new board's seated, just for one time, just a one-time deal, when the new board's seated, perhaps we could look at how we communicate in the ways that we...
Okay, so no vote on a new superintendent until after the new board members are seated. But what's new about the International Residence Academy? Recall that we've had 3 public informational meetings talking about trying to arrange a long-term land lease with the Wyoming organization so that they can build a dormitory on school property. Dr. Skilling brought us up to date.
The question that the board was grappling with is about a lease agreement and get the forms on because we were looking to build it on school grounds.
Okay.
But now after talking with Wyoming, and I had a conversation with them when I got back, it isn't going to work out where we can come to an agreement that works for both them as well as the district. The bottom line is this, is that they're making about a $10 million investment.
Okay.
And they need to have say over that building. Let's say the partnership falls apart 10 years from now.
Okay.
We got a 20-year agreement.
Okay.
They have to have the protection that they can then sell it and recoup their money.
Okay.
So we certainly understand that. Our position was we had to maintain control over it at all times because it's on school grounds. So we said it wouldn't matter if we discussed this for 8 more months. We can't satisfy their need and satisfy our need at the same time.
Okay.
So the determination was just have them purchase land and build it off school site. Okay? So that's what they're pursuing at this point.
So, at the latest meeting on the 17th, all was calm and friendly as they said goodbye to those leaving and welcome to those joining the board. The Hour of Code is a promotion put on by Code.org, a public nonprofit dedicated to expanding participation in computer science by students and people of all ages, races, genders, and nationalities. Companies like Microsoft, Apple, Amazon, and the Boys and Girl Clubs of America are behind it. One of the goals was to see how many people would go on their website and complete the Hour of Code from December 8th through the 14th. The answer to that is over 76 million, with some of those being from our Oxford Elementary. Teacher Shannon Dote heads the Code Club in that school. It's made up of about 30 kids in grades 3 through 5. She tells us about the group.
Okay, so we meet on Mondays after school, either in this room or also in the media center. The kids signed up voluntarily, 3rd, 4th, or 5th graders, and we work through programming challenges and logic and that kind of thing.
What is the name of the organization that you have again?
Well,
For your club?
We just call it Code Club.
The Code Club?
The Code Club.
Okay, and so this Hour of Code is just one little project that you guys are involved with, I suppose, right?
Right.
Okay.
We've been meeting every week on Mondays since the beginning of the year. After school is our club, but then Hour of Code is an international week where a lot of, I think it's 48 million people signed up to do programming that week to learn.
You know, I just checked.
Student Ridge Wilson tells us what he likes about the Code Club.
Well, the specialties of Code Club are like all the challenges you can come through, and there's different levels like Angry Birds, Artists, Zombies. Free Draw is one of my favorites, and I bet it's most of other people's favorites, but you have to get through all the levels to progress.
Computer code was one of my favorite classes. How about you? Enjoy the holiday season. Science in the News is next, then Wildcats Sports. This is Oxford Community Television, keeping it local.
You're watching OCTV!
And welcome back to Oxford News this week. It's time for sports. We talked about last week the Oxford wrestling team about having no superstars. However, they came out of the gate like gangbusters. The Wildcat Grapplers placed 3rd out of 39 teams at the Oakland County Championship Tournament that was held this past weekend at Lake Orion High School. Oxford had a total score of 200 points, while Detroit Catholic Central took first place with 293. In second place, Walled Lake Central, they chipped in with 280. The boys will return to the mat on January 3rd when they travel to Detroit Catholic Central for the DCC Invite. The boys varsity swim and dive team kicked off their season to a 1-1 record so far, defeating North Farmington 108-78 last week. As far as what to expect for the rest of the season, Head coach Jackie Rank says it isn't quite sure, but her athletes do like and get excited about the group meets. Rank noted the boys love the dual meets and league meets. The boys' next home meet will be January 15th at Oxford High School in the Natatorium against Rochester. Start time for that contest will be 6 p.m. All 12 Oxford boys basketball players who entered Saturday's game scored as the Wildcats cruised to a 78-20 win over the Detroit Henry Ford Academy School of Creative Studies. Say that 3 times. At the Oakland Invitational, North Farmington, Oxford now 2-0 in the league, held a 40-point halftime lead and did not let up in the second half, continuing pressure on the Mustangs into poor shot selections and turnovers. And the tandem team, much like the hockey team with Oxford and Avondale, the Oxford Holly ski team are planning to come out strong for both the boys and girls this season. Overall, the strength of the team will be its depth and past performance. Again, maybe we can get a camera out there and cover skiing. I don't think we've done that one yet. After placing third in the first competition and 7th out of 8 teams in their league, Coach Sherry Russell was very pleased. The varsity competitive cheer team is going to have a pretty tough season ahead because of the league. They are in the OAA Red. It's probably one of the toughest leagues in the state of Michigan. In that league includes Lake Orion, Stony Creek, Clarkston, Rochester Adams, Rochester High, Troy Athens, and Troy High. Again, a lot of our sporting programs can be seen here on Saturday and Sundays between the times of 1 and 6, or you can always check them out on our website, OCCTV.org. Hit the programs tab. We do have a few of the sporting programs up there, some of the basketball games, and I know there's a hockey game and even the, I think, competitive cheer meet. Check our website out. Once again, I want to say go Lions, as at this broadcast they'll be facing the Dallas Cowboys coming up on Sunday. Hopefully they'll advance on in their wild card. And then congratulations if you wear the maize and blue. Many of us do, some of us don't. But we want to definitely say we wish Jim Harbaugh luck if he takes the helm of the University of Michigan Wolverines. Again, it's almost a done deal, but hasn't been finalized as of yet. Anyways, that's sports for this week on Oxford News This Week. Hope you have a great week. Take care of yourselves. Happy New Year. Happy 2015. We'll see you again in the new year. Take care, everyone.
Welcome to this week's edition of Auto Talk. I'm John Ochins, filling in for Dave Kenny. The following stories are taken from the latest edition of Automotive News. You want to go from 0 to 60 in under 4 seconds and hit a top speed of 200 miles an hour? How about a 2016 Cadillac CTS-V? This is the 3rd generation of the track-ready midsize sedan. The car's 6.2-liter supercharged V8 will produce 640 horsepower. That's up from 556 before. The torque is a whopping 630 pounds. That's about 100 more than the Mercedes E63 AMG. GM will use its homegrown 8-speed automatic transmission with paddle shifters. The CTS-V will be in showrooms by late summer after the launch of the V-Series versions of the ATS sedan and coupe. The CTS-V has distinct sheet metal from the cowl forward, different from the base sedan. It has a carbon fiber hood and a large mesh-like grille opening to better cool the bigger engine. The structure of the car is stiffer than the non-V series to help it handle the increased cornering and torque loads. There's an aluminum shear panel at the front of the chassis and V-braces for the engine compartment. You can select between 3 modes, touring, sport, or track, to calibrate stiffness and other dynamics. The V8 engine is from the same family as those used in the redesigned pickups and SUVs. No EPA estimate is available yet. Inside of the car, suede-like microfiber and Recaro racing seats and a performance data recorder that records high-definition video of your driving experience. Smile. The growing use of aluminum auto body parts could cause an increase in the sale of dealership paintless dent removal insurance. Some F&I experts say although aluminum has been used in some cars for years, like the Audi, Jaguar, and Land Rover, use in Ford F-150s and others could create an increased need for the coverage. Ford says its latest aluminum parts are high-strength, military-grade, more dent and ding resistant. Cliff Eller, the executive VP of F&I provider EFG Companies, says that fixing aluminum using traditional paintless dent and removal techniques is costlier than fixing sheet metal. It will be Big Three contract negotiation time this year. UAW President Dennis Williams says longtime auto workers deserve a big raise increase after the nearly a decade without one. Williams says the UAW does recognize that whatever is negotiated must keep the Detroit Three competitive with non-union rivals in the South. He spoke at a year-end press conference. Current contracts are up in September. He says they will also try to narrow the pay gap between the so-called legacy workers and the new hires known as Tier 2 workers. That's Auto Talk for this week. Stay tuned to Oxford Community Television, keeping it local.
You're watching Oxford Community Television, keeping it local.
Welcome to another segment of the news we call your weekly calendar of events, where we feature your weekly calendar of local Oxford and Addison community events, including charity, special fundraisers, and general community information. Now, if you or your organization would like help to get your message out to the public, contact us for detailed information at our studio phone number at 248-628-9658, or you can go to our website at occtv.org. K9 Stray Rescue League of Oxford has a dog adoption day every second Saturday of every month from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at Pet Stuff Harvest Time in Oxford, corner of Drainer Road and M24. If you would like a loving, furry little addition to your family, K9 Rescue has just the little critter for you. You can also check the K9 Stray Rescue League's website and view pictures of pets for adoption. Go to www.dogsaver.org. Now, Alcoholics Anonymous has meetings every Monday, every month. The meetings begin at 7:30 p.m. Just go to the Oxford Free Methodist Church at 790 South Lapeer Road in Oxford, and if you feel that you may have a serious alcohol or drug-related problem, you can talk confidentially with the church's pastor and get help and support. Wednesday, January 14th, 6:30 p.m., the early days of radio will be presented at the Oxford Public Library by Al and Dave Eicher from Program Source International. Broadcasting provides creative opportunities and new ways to explore communications. Oxford, Michigan, as most of you know, was the home of Brace Beamer, who for 13 years was a radio voice for the Lone Ranger. For you folks in Oxford, you will certainly enjoy this unique presentation. For more information, call 248-628-3034. Now, the folks at Oxford Village Police Dispatch Office 911 would like the public to know that they have received several lost items to be reclaimed. For example, some little girl left a doll at the Burdick Street Community Room, and a Cub Scout or a Boy Scout left a sash complete with a number of achievement badges. If you want more information, go to the Oxford Village offices at Burdick Street. Now, if you represent an organization wishing to show your support for our local Oxford school and sports programs, the music concerts, or any of the many other programs broadcast by our TV station, you could become a sponsor or an underwriter on OCTV. A promotional television spot would be created and recognition would be given to you by our sports announcers during the event. It's easy and it's quite inexpensive. For more information, contact our TV station manager, Bill Service, at 248-628-9658, or you can send a message of interest to Bill's email address at manager@occtv.org. Now, we at Oxford Community TV would like our television viewing public to learn more about your club or organization's special upcoming event or charity. So, if you would like to get your special event mentioned on our television show, call us at 248-628-9658, or again, go to our website at occtv.org. Now, just one final reminder. You can locate our OCTV program schedule by going to our website, occtv.org, and clicking on Schedule. There you will find a list of OCTV broadcast programs, dates, and times. One program I highly recommend is Bill Service, who always has interesting local stories and interviews on our Community Access program. Check it out. This is Oxford Community Television, OCTV. I'm your host, Elgin Nichols. We invite you to join us again for the next segment of your weekly calendar of events.
This is OCTV, Oxford Community Television, serving Oxford and Addison Townships with the best in local programming. On Charter Channel 191, AT&T UVerse Channel 99, and our website, occtv.org. OCTV.